Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Heavenly, and this is session 2, which really is session 1 because session 1 was really for myself, but session 2 is going to be for whoever cares to listen. So, this podcast, I named it Soul Out Loud. I really feel like there are so many beautiful souls out in this world, including my own, who wants to be heard and wants to be felt. And that's what this podcast is about. So we're going to make sure we dive into things, maybe things that people think about subconsciously or ways people feel, but a lot of people just don't say it. But I will be. Clock it. So yes. Couple of days I've been seeing the number 1111. Not even days, honestly, this has been going on for like a month now, and I consistently see this number quite literally all the time. I know a lot of people like say angel numbers is paranoia or just something that just people come up with, but I strongly believe in angel numbers. I strongly believe in seeing signs and God sending you signs, and that's what this episode is going to be a little bit about. So yes, it's going to be about me a little bit, because why not? But it's also going to be about these numbers, going to be about the different meaning of things and all that good juicy stuff. So I chose the name Soul Awakening because I really do feel like the past 6 months, if you know, has been a real soul awakening thing for me. Honestly, if you ask me, my soul awakening has evolved for the longest time. I feel like I've had different awakenings, but I feel like there's levels to it, and I'm definitely getting up there. And I just went through something that was very awakening mentally, spiritually. So that's why I named it a soul awakening. So a lot of people can relate to having soul awakenings. Some say it comes in dreams, some with people, some with just circumstances. Honestly, whatever it is, I believe that once you get that calling, once your soul is yearning for more, it's definitely up to you as a human being and as somebody who loves themselves to feed into that and feed yourself spiritually, feed yourself mentally, and put yourself in that position so your soul can be enlightened and moved up in life. I do strongly feel like that's why a lot of people in this world struggle so badly, because they probably have had callings onto their life in which they probably just ignored it. At the end of the day, who you choose to be as a person is very much important to where your life is gonna go. But basically, what I'm trying to say is, going through a spiritual awakening is definitely something you have to experience to become your true higher being and to become a better version of yourself. No, it's not always going to be a beautiful process with the angel numbers and the butterflies and the sun, but you will learn a lot and it will make you a better person in the end. To really get into it, I would say my very first spiritual awakening was when I had to be about 16 years old. I've always craved spiritualness in a sense. I've always craved to be like connected to nature, connected to myself in a way, but I didn't really understand it. It wasn't until I got 16 and I learned what meditations is and all those good things, and I finally learned what really connecting with your higher self is, and from that point on it became very addictive. I went through a phase where I would just love to meditate. I would love to listen to my gospel. I would love to pray, and I would love to do all those things. All of that meant so much to me, and it really helped me get through so many challenges inside of my life. Not only that, but when I was experiencing these things, I started seeing visual representations of what it's like to get messages from God, something I never understood. You know, growing up, if you're somebody like me who's grown up in church, you always hear that God will talk to you. You're He'll God, He'll talk to you. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this voice. I'm gonna wait for this big magical voice to just say something to me. But when I turned 16 and I was really diving into my spiritual awakening, I definitely was able to see more of how God could talk to me. And that's when I learned about the angel numbers and different birds and how they have different meanings in dreams. I remember my first dream that I've had that really made me aware that I was having a spiritual awakening. I was outside of my mother's house, and I remember I had got shot. And I remember dying, but I remember all of my family in the house could still see me, but everybody knew I was dead. And I questioned myself, why am I still here? Why am I not in heaven right now? Why am I still walking on this earth? Questioning myself as if I didn't already think that I deserved to be there. So then my mother tells me, go outside, blink your eyes 7 times. And odd request, but I did it. And as I blinked my eyes, I got higher and higher and higher into the air. And it was like a big, bright gold light blinding my eyes. And I didn't know what to feel, what to think. Like, I just was in so much shock that it's like I just was happy. I just was so happy because I just knew that this was a good thing. I mean, I do remember on the 7th blink, I did wake up, which I was pretty disappointed in that because I'm thinking, dang, I'm gonna meet my maker. Like, that's what I wanted. But hey, maybe it wasn't my time. But since that dream and since that experience, I've always found a way to stay in tune with myself spiritually. And excuse me. Honestly, that's what's worked best for me. I did go through a weird phase where I was almost, I guess you could say, under a spiritual psychosis. I definitely do feel like when you are a spiritual person, and if you know, you know, when you tap into that spiritual side, you kind of lose touch with reality because you start seeing everybody and everything as spiritual. And I started going through a phase in my early teenagers where I just wanted to be by myself. I didn't really want to be around anybody. I didn't want the friends that I had. I just wanted to be by myself. I literally took the TV down. I felt like the TV was watching me. I felt like TV was, listen, it can get crazy when you are becoming spiritually awoke. That's why I was warning you. It's not always birds, shines, and angel numbers. You know, it can get real. And I definitely had tapped out of it because I wanted to be a normal girl again. I wanted to be able to go out with my friends and go to the club and not always read people, because that's another thing that I was really good at. I could read people. I could talk to somebody and I could have a conversation with them and I could be able to tell this person's whole, I don't know, like it's hard to explain it, you know, but it was something that was a good gift, but also very hard to manage because then you judge everybody because you can see the things that they're flawed in and the things that they're good in, and you can read them and it's like you're constantly reading them. You can't stop it. It's a very hard thing to juggle, but you know, it's what made me who I am. Unfortunately though, back then I didn't understand that. I felt like I was invading other people. I wasn't giving other people the chance that they needed. And I tapped out of that. Doesn't mean it wasn't still going on, because I feel like when you are spiritually gifted, and that is a gift that God's given you, it's implemented inside of you, and it's not something that you can just tap out of, in a sense, if you know what I mean. So I definitely wanted to just, now I wouldn't say forget that I had it, but I wanted to feel normal. I wanted to not judge everything. I wanted it to be more sufficient for me instead of me working around the gift. You feel me? So that happened, but I eventually did tap back into it. I guess it's more so of learning how to balance reality and spirituality, which we'll be talking about too. Something that I do have to warn beautiful souls out there: be very careful who you let around your energy. I feel like when you are a person who vibrate at a high level, when you are a person who have great energy, you are very common to run into all different sorts and types of people. Some that are meant to destroy you, some that are meant to slow you down, some that are maybe there to help you. Just make sure you're paying attention to those different type of things, because those were a lot of things that I kind of ignored, in a sense, even though I knew it's something that I should have been more focus on is something I should have paid attention to. When you are younger, you don't really pay attention to those kind of things, and that's okay. That's just stuff you learn in life. But hey, glad you got me here because I can tell you. So, if you are somebody who is like me and you want to dive more into your spirituality, you want to tap more into your gifts and who you might be as a person, because I definitely feel like each and every one of us have a higher being or a higher version of ourselves who we are meant in this lifetime to become. And if you are somebody who wants to do that and you want some tips on how to do that, I would suggest journaling, meditation, prayer. Okay, maybe not in that order, but do them, because that is what keeps you sane. That is what cleanses your energy. A lot of y'all be using a whole bunch of, that's not what you look. I'm telling you, the power is already within you. You are God's children, and therefore you were already born with the gift. All you have to do is be willing to pour into yourself. I feel like a lot of people, especially in my generation, we tend to pour into other people more than we can pour into ourselves. If I would suggest one thing to you, pour into yourself today. Clock it. Journal, meditate, take space. Sometimes I have to set boundaries with myself. Sometimes I have to check on myself and ask myself, are you good? And give myself these pep talks and calm myself down. That's just what you're gonna have to do. If you want to tap into who you are spiritually, if you want to become a higher person, that's step number one. That's step number one. Okay, tap into that, get into that. Okay, I'm not steering you wrong. For the longest time, meditation though has been something that has been top tier for me. When I tell you, I have so many different internal mental issues, not to sound dark or like, but meditation has helped me through so many things. And if we're being realistic, meditation can help a lot of y'all through a lot of things, because a lot of y'all need it. I'm just